While cooking for my husband's family, I heard his brother say in the pantry, "How'd you marry this loser? No degree." My husband replied, "She tries, but I was trapped by the pregnancy." I served chili, smiling. 3 days later, their pleas flooded my phone, but I'd left. Their words made me stronger. My revenge is my triumph. They lost me forever. So picture this. I'm standing in my mother-in-law's kitchen, stirring a massive pot of chili for what feels like the 100th family dinner this year. The smell of cumin and paprika is filling the air, and I'm thinking about how I actually love cooking for everyone. Makes me feel useful, you know? Like I'm contributing something real to this family that sometimes feels like they're just tolerating me. My husband Jake and I had been married for 3 years at this point. We got hitched pretty quick after I got pregnant with our daughter, Emma, who's now 2 and absolutely the light of my life. But honestly, looking back, I think I was so caught up in playing house that I never really paid attention to the way his family talked to me, or about me. Jake's got this tight-knit family, his mom Carol, his dad Frank, and his younger brother Danny, who's fresh out of college with some fancy business degree. They're all super educated, got their degrees from good schools, and they work these white-collar jobs that sound impressive when you say them at parties. Meanwhile, I graduated high school and went straight to work at a local diner to help support my mom after my dad bounced. Never had the luxury of college, never had anyone telling me I should go. Just worked my tail off and figured life would work itself out. That particular Sunday, Carol had invited the whole extended family over for dinner. I'm talking aunts, uncles, cousins, the whole 9 yards. She asked me to make my famous chili, because everyone always raves about it. I was genuinely excited, spent all morning getting everything perfect. Ground beef from the good butcher shop, fresh tomatoes, secret blend of spices my grandmother taught me. This wasn't some Campbell's soup situation. This was the real deal. I'm in the kitchen, adding the final touches when I realize I need more chili powder. Carol keeps all her spices in this walk-in pantry that's right off the kitchen. As I'm heading over there, I hear voices coming from inside. Jake and Danny are in there, talking in those hushed tones people use when they think they're being sneaky. I freeze right outside the door because something about Danny's tone makes my stomach drop. Seriously, though, Danny's saying, and I can practically hear him shaking his head. How'd you end up marrying this loser? I mean, come on, Jake. No college degree, works at that greasy diner, can't even hold a conversation about anything intellectual. Mom and Dad are too polite to say it, but we all think it. My heart literally stops. I'm gripping the doorframe so hard my knuckles are white, waiting for Jake to defend me, waiting for my husband to shut his brother down and tell him he's way out of line. Instead, Jake lets out this tired sigh that cuts through me like a knife. Look, she tries her best, all right? But honestly, I was trapped by the pregnancy. Emma wasn't exactly planned, and doing the right thing felt like the only option at the time. I figured I'd make it work somehow. Trapped. That word just echoes in my head over and over. 3 years of marriage and my husband feels trapped. 3 years of me thinking we were building something together, and he's been viewing me as some kind of obligation this whole time. Danny actually laughs and says, "Well, at least the kid's cute, but man, you could have done so much better. Remember Sarah from college? She's a lawyer now, still single, just saying." "Yeah, well, it is what it is," Jake replies. "Let's just get through dinner." I hear them starting to move around, getting ready to come out, so I quickly grab the chili powder and hustle back to the stove. My hands are shaking as I add it to the pot, stirring mechanically while my brain tries to process what just happened. When they emerge from the pantry, acting like nothing happened, I plaster the biggest smile on my face. "Chili's ready," I announced cheerfully. "Hope everyone's hungry." Update. The family dinner was absolutely surreal. I served that chili with the biggest smile, complimented everyone, played the perfect wife and daughter-in-law, but inside I was planning. 3 days later, I was gone. But here's what's wild. Should I tell you what I discovered about Jake's perfect family that made everything so much sweeter? The dinner goes exactly like it always does. Everyone compliments my cooking, tells me how lucky Jake is, asks about Emma and my job at the diner with these patronizing smiles. Carol makes her usual comment about how some people just aren't cut out for higher education, while looking directly at me. Frank talks about his latest business deal, using big words like he's trying to impress someone. Danny shows off his new iPhone and talks about his entry-level marketing job like he's running Fortune 500 companies. And Jake sits there, eating my chili, letting his family make their little digs, never once standing up for me. Every bite he takes feels like a betrayal now that I know how he really feels. But you know what? I'm smiling through it all. Because while they're sitting there feeling superior, I'm already 3 steps ahead. See, working at a diner for 7 years teaches you things. You learn to read people real quick. You pick up on conversations, you notice patterns, you become invisible in the best possible way. And I've been paying attention to this family a lot longer than they realize. Danny, with his fancy degree and big talk, he's been lying about his job for months. That marketing position he brags about? He got fired 6 weeks ago for showing up late too many times and spending company hours on dating apps. He's been burning through his savings, pretending to go to work every day, too embarrassed to tell anyone the truth. Frank's big business deals? His company's been struggling for over a year. He's been borrowing money from his retirement fund to keep up appearances, and Carol has no idea their financial situation is way shakier than it looks. And Carol herself, with all her judgmental comments about education, she never finished college either. Dropped out junior year when she got pregnant with Jake. The whole family narrative about everyone being so educated and successful is built on lies and half-truths. But Jake doesn't know any of this because he's too busy being ashamed of his wife to actually pay attention to his own family's problems. After dinner, I help clean up, kiss everyone goodbye, and drive home in complete silence. Emma's spending the night at my mom's house, so the house is quiet when we get back. Jake immediately plops down on our Walmart couch and turns on Sunday Night Football like nothing happened. I sit down next to him, still processing everything, and watch him cheer for his team like he didn't just completely destroy my world a few hours ago. "Good dinner tonight," he says during a commercial break, not even looking at me. "Yeah," I reply. "It was great." That night, after Jake falls asleep, I sit at our kitchen table with my laptop and start making lists. Not crying, not having some dramatic breakdown, just planning. First list, everything I need to do to leave. Find a new place to live, figure. Out custody arrangements, gather important documents, open my own bank account, practical stuff. Second list, everything Jake doesn't know about me. Like the fact that I've been taking online courses for the past 2 years, working toward my associate's degree in business management. Or that my boss at the diner has been trying to convince me to become a partner in a second location he's opening across town. Or that I've been saving money in a private account for 3 years, just in case. C, being called just a diner waitress, implies I'm lazy or unmotivated. But the truth is, I've been working 2 jobs since I was 16. I know how to hustle, how to save, how to make things happen when I set my mind to it. I just never felt the need to brag about it to make other people feel small. Third list, all the ways this family has underestimated me over the years. All the comments, all the assumptions, all the times they treated me like I was lucky to be included in their little circle. By Monday morning, I have a plan. I call in sick to work, which I never do, and spend the day apartment hunting. Find a nice 2-bedroom place about 20 minutes away that's actually cheaper than what Jake and I are paying for our rental house. The landlord, a sweet older lady named Mrs. Rodriguez, takes one look at my references and rental history and approves me on the spot. Tuesday, I take Emma to daycare like normal, then drive to the bank and move all my savings into a new account at a different institution. It's not a huge amount, but it's enough to cover moving expenses and a few months of living costs. Wednesday morning, while Jake's at work, I start packing. Not everything, just the essentials. Emma's stuff, my clothes, important documents, family photos. I leave most of the furniture because, honestly, most of it was cheap stuff we bought when we first moved in together, and starting fresh sounds pretty appealing right about now. I also pack up my grandmother's recipe box, including the one for that famous chili everyone loves so much. Funny how they'll miss it when it's gone. By Wednesday evening, Emma and I are settled into our new place. I text Jake a simple message. "Emma and I moved out. Divorce papers will be filed Monday. You can reach me through my lawyer if you need to discuss custody." Then I turn off my phone and spend the evening helping Emma set up her new room, like it's just another adventure. Update: Jake started calling Thursday morning at 6 a.m. and didn't stop until midnight. Left 37 voicemails that went from confused to angry to desperate to confused again. His family joined in by Friday. Even Carol, who never calls me, left messages asking what happened. But wait until you hear what I found out they were really worried about. The first voicemail from Jake is almost funny. He sounds genuinely confused, like he can't figure out why I would leave. "Hey, I got your text. Very funny. Seriously. Though, what's going on? Emma's stuff is gone too. Call me back." By the 10th voicemail, he's getting annoyed. "This is ridiculous. You can't just take my daughter and disappear. We need to talk about this like adults." Voicemail 15, he's getting desperate. "Please just call me back. Whatever I did, we can work it out. This is crazy." By Thursday night, he's practically begging. "I don't understand what happened. Everything was fine on Sunday. We had a nice dinner with my family. You seemed happy. Please just talk to me." The fact that he has absolutely no clue what he did wrong tells me everything I need to know about how checked out he's been from our marriage. Friday morning brings a whole new development. Carol calls, which is already weird because she's never called me directly in 3 years of marriage. "Sweetheart," she says in that fake sweet voice she uses when she wants something. "Jake told us about this little misunderstanding. I'm sure it's just hormones or stress from work. Why don't you come over for dinner Sunday and we'll sort this all out?" Little misunderstanding. Like I'm some hysterical woman who just needs to be managed back into line. Danny leaves a message too, and this one makes me laugh out loud. "Hey, sorry if I said something wrong at dinner. You know how families can be, just joking around. No hard feelings, right?" Frank's message is probably the most telling. Now, I don't know what's gotten into you, but this kind of behavior isn't good for Emma. Children need stability. Think about what's best for your daughter. Using my own child to guilt me into staying in a marriage where her father sees her as a trap. Classic. But here's the thing they don't know. While they're all leaving me messages trying to fix this misunderstanding, I'm busy having the most empowering week of my life. Monday, I meet with my boss Tommy at the diner. He's this 60-year-old guy who built his business from nothing, and he's been mentoring me for years without me even realizing it. "I've been wondering when you'd finally make this move," he says when I tell him about the divorce. "That husband of yours never seemed to appreciate what he had. We talk numbers for the partnership opportunity. It's scary, but it's also exciting in a way I haven't felt in years. The new location is in a growing part of town, perfect for the breakfast and lunch crowd. Tommy's offering me 40% ownership in exchange for managing the day-to-day operations and bringing my customer service skills to train the staff. You've got something most people with fancy degrees don't have," he tells me. "You understand people. You know how to make someone feel welcome, how to remember what matters to them. That's worth more than any piece of paper on the wall." Tuesday, I meet with a lawyer. She's recommended by my neighbor, a single mom who went through her own messy divorce a few years back. The lawyer, Ms. Chen, is straight to the point and doesn't talk down to me like I'm stupid. You've got a strong case for primary custody, she explains. You've been the primary caregiver, you have stable employment and housing, and from what you're telling me, your husband's family environment might not be the healthiest for a child. She also explains that Jake's going to have to pay child support, which honestly hadn't even occurred to me. I was so focused on just getting out that I didn't think about the financial support Emma deserves from her father. Wednesday, I enroll in 2 more online classes to finish my associate's degree faster. If people are going to judge me for not having an education, I might as well prove them wrong on my own terms. Thursday, I have lunch with my mom, who's been Emma's babysitter since she was born. I was nervous about telling her about the divorce because she always liked Jake. Honey, she says, reaching across the table to squeeze my hand. I've been waiting for you to wake up for 3 years. That boy never deserved you, and his family treated you like hired help. You're worth so much more than settling for someone who sees you as a burden. Turns out my mom had been biting her tongue about Jake's family for years, not wanting to interfere in my marriage. But she'd noticed all the little put-downs, all the ways they made me feel small. You light up when you talk about your work, about your plans, about Emma, she continues. But whenever you talked about Jake or his family, it was like watching someone shrink themselves to fit into too small a space. Friday brings the call I've been waiting for. Jake's panicking because he's starting to realize this isn't just some temporary tantrum. You can't do this, he says when I finally answer the phone. You can't just break up our family over nothing. Over nothing? I ask calmly. Jake, do you even know why I left? There's a long pause. I honestly don't. Everything seemed fine. Think harder. Another pause. Was it something my family said? You know how they can be sometimes, but they don't mean anything by it. The fact that he's blaming his family instead of taking responsibility for his own words tells me everything I need to know. Jake, I heard you and Danny talking in the pantry on Sunday. The silence on the other end of the line stretches so long I think the call dropped. You heard? He finally whispers. Everything. About me being a loser. About you being trapped. About how you could have done better. That wasn't... I didn't mean it like that. I was just frustrated and Danny was pushing and... How exactly did you mean it, Jake? He can't answer because there's no good way to spin what he said. There's no context that makes calling your wife a loser and claiming you were trapped into marrying her okay. I want to work this out, he finally says. We can go to counseling. I'll do better. It's too late for that. What about Emma? She needs her father. She'll still have her father, but she also needs to see what it looks like when someone values themselves enough not to accept being treated poorly. Update. By the following Sunday, I had 3 job offers, a business partnership locked in, and a college acceptance letter. Jake's family was falling apart trying to figure out how to function without me handling everything. But the real kicker came when Danny's lies caught up with him at the worst possible moment. Are you ready for this? The next few weeks are a whirlwind of positive changes that I honestly didn't see coming. It's like removing the weight of trying. To fit into Jake's family's expectations freed up all this energy I didn't know I had. The partnership with Tommy becomes official, and we set a grand opening date for the new diner location in 6 weeks. I'm terrified and excited and working 16-hour days, but it's the good kind of exhausted where you fall asleep proud of what you accomplished. Emma loves our new apartment. Her room is bigger than the one at the old house, and she's made friends with the little girl next door. My mom helps with babysitting while I'm working extra hours, and it feels like we're building this solid little support system that doesn't require me to constantly prove my worth. The online classes are going well, too. Turns out when you're not spending all your emotional energy trying to defend your existence, you have a lot more brain power available for studying business management and accounting principles. But the real entertainment comes from watching Jake's family slowly fall apart without me there to hold things together. See, I didn't realize how much I was doing for them until I stopped doing it. I was the one who remembered everyone's birthdays and bought gifts. I was the one who organized family dinners and made sure there was always enough food. I was the one who listened to Carol complain about her friends and offered solutions to Frank's work problems and helped Danny with his resume when he was job hunting. Without me playing the role of family caretaker, the cracks in their perfect facade start showing real quick. It starts with Carol calling Jake every day, asking him to bring food to family dinner because she doesn't feel like cooking. Jake, who can barely make toast without burning it, shows up with gas station sandwiches and bags of chips. The family dinners that used to be these elaborate affairs with homemade everything turn into awkward gatherings where everyone's eating convenience store food and staring at their phones. Frank's business problems get worse without me there to listen to his complaints and offer suggestions. Turns out I was actually pretty good at helping him think through customer service issues and organizational problems. Who knew a diner waitress might have insights about running a business efficiently? But the real chaos happens when Danny's web of lies finally collapses in the most spectacular way possible. Remember how he got fired from his marketing job but was pretending to still work there? Well, his college friend Michael decides to throw him a surprise birthday party and invites everyone from their old fraternity, including some guys who work at the company Danny claims to still work for. Carol spends 2 weeks planning this party, so proud of her youngest son and his successful career. She invites all the extended family, makes a huge dinner, even orders a custom cake that says, "Congratulations on your success, Danny." The party is at Frank and Carol's house, the same dining Room where I served that last chili dinner. Jake brings Emma for the afternoon because it's his custody weekend, which means I get to hear about the disaster secondhand from my very observant 2-year-old. According to Emma's toddler version of events, which I later confirmed through my mom's friend whose daughter was catering the party, things go downhill fast when Michael starts talking to Danny's college friends about work. "So, how's the marketing world treating you?" one of them asks Danny. "Oh, keeping busy," Danny replies, trying to change the subject. But Michael, being a good friend, decides to brag on Danny's behalf. "This guy's killing it at Morrison & Associates. I keep telling him he should ask for a promotion." That's when Jake's friend Tom, who actually works at Morrison & Associates, speaks up. "Danny, I don't think we have a Danny at Morrison. What department are you in?" The whole party basically stops. Carol's standing there with her proud mom's smile, Frank's in the middle of giving a toast about hard work paying off, and Danny's just frozen like a deer in headlights. I work remotely mostly," Danny stammers. "Remote? Morrison doesn't do remote work for entry-level positions," Tom says, genuinely confused. "Are you sure you work for Morrison & Associates?" That's when it all comes out. 6 weeks of unemployment, burned savings, daily trips to coffee shops to maintain the illusion of going to work. The whole family finds out at once, in front of all their friends and extended family, that their college-educated golden boy has been lying to them for over a month. Carol apparently starts crying right there in front of everyone. Frank gets angry and starts demanding explanations. The party basically disintegrates as people awkwardly make excuses to leave early. Jake calls me that night, and for the first time since I left, he sounds completely defeated. "My family's falling apart," he says quietly. "I'm sorry to hear that," I reply, and I genuinely mean it. I don't wish pain on them. I just couldn't stay in a situation where I was consistently disrespected. They keep asking where you are. "Mom wants to know if you'll come to Sunday dinner to help sort everything out with Danny. She says you always know what to say to make people feel better." The irony is almost too much. The same people who called me a loser and talked about how I wasn't good enough for their family now want me to come fix their problems. "Jake, I'm not part of your family anymore. You made that very clear. I never meant for any of this to happen. You meant every word you said in that pantry. You just didn't mean for me to hear it." There's a long silence before he speaks again. Danny feels terrible about what he said. He wants to apologize. Danny doesn't feel terrible about what he said. Danny feels terrible that his lies caught up with him and now everyone knows he's not as successful as he pretended to be. That's not fair. "Jake, Danny called me a loser for not having a college degree. This week I signed a business partnership agreement that's going to make me more money than his entry-level marketing job ever would have." The irony isn't lost on me. "You got a business partnership?" The surprise in his voice reminds me why I needed to leave. My own husband had no idea what I was capable of because he never bothered to really see me. "I got a lot of things, Jake. I'm finishing my degree, I'm starting my own business, I'm raising our daughter in a home where she'll never hear anyone call her mother names. I'm building a life I'm actually proud of. What about us? Don't you miss what we had?" "I miss who I thought you were. But I don't miss feeling like I had to constantly prove I was worth loving." 3 months later, I'm standing in my new diner on opening day, watching a line of customers wrap around the block. Tommy's grinning like a proud father, my mom's helping serve coffee, and Emma's sitting at the counter in her little apron, pretending to take orders on her toy phone. My associate's degree diploma is framed on the wall behind the register, right next to a photo of Emma and me at her daycare graduation. I'm starting my bachelor's degree in the fall, not because anyone expects me to, but because I want to see what else I'm capable of achieving. Jake picks up Emma every other weekend, and we've settled into a cordial co-parenting relationship. He pays his child support on time and doesn't make comments about my choices anymore. I think seeing me succeed despite his family's predictions has been humbling for him. Carol tried to friend me on social media a few weeks ago, probably to keep tabs on how I'm doing. I didn't accept the request, but I didn't block her either. Some bridges are better left unburned, but also uncrossed. Danny got a new job at a smaller company making less money than he was before, but at least it's real this time. I heard through mutual friends that he tells people now about how his ex-sister-in-law really had her life together, and how he learned a lot from watching her handle adversity. It's nice that he learned something, I guess. Frank's business ended up folding 6 months after I left. Turns out those financial problems were worse than anyone knew, and without me there as Carol's sounding board, she never pushed him to make the hard decisions that might have saved it. They had to sell the house and downsize to a small apartment across town. But here's the thing. I don't feel vindicated by their struggles. I feel free. Free from constantly trying to prove my worth to people who were determined not to see it. Free from making myself smaller so other people could feel bigger. Free from apologizing for not being the person they wanted me to be instead of celebrating the person I actually am. The diner is thriving, Emma's happy and confident, and I wake up every morning excited about what the day might bring. I'm dating someone new, a teacher named Marcus who thinks it's amazing that I built a business from nothing and tells his friends about my accomplishments with genuine pride in his voice. Sometimes customers at the diner ask about my famous chili recipe, the one Jake's family used to rave about. I always smile and tell them it's not on the menu anymore. Some recipes are meant to stay in the past, along with the people who didn't appreciate them when they had the chance. These days, I'm cooking up something much better, a life where I'm valued, respected, and celebrated for exactly who I am, and that's a recipe worth sharing.